Welcome to Ignition, a show by Infusionsoft. My name is Ramon Ray.
And I'm Ellis Friedman. Today we have a very special guest on our show. Lila, who is your favorite Ignition host?
Look at that. Obviously.
Obviously.
Me.
Me.
Oh, yeah.
Lila, one final question. Squirrel?
Welcome to the Ignition Show, a show by Infusionsoft where we take one question and help one small business owner grow. Today, in fact, we're in the Wix Lounge. So big thanks to Wix for having us here. My name is Ramon Ray.
And I'm Ellis Friedman.
So, Ellis, please tell everyone out there watching our video how they can be in touch with the Ignition Show.
Well, everyone, you can email us at blog@infusionsoft.com.
Awesome. So, Ellis, let's begin. What is our question of the day?
Our question of the day is from Sarah. My business is about to go from just me to a few employees. My business deals with a lot of vendors as well as customers' credit card information. How do I make sure that all that information stays private? And how do I protect the business as it grows and make sure that my employees don't accidentally expose sensitive data?
Wow, sensitive data, hackers, viruses, all these things are scary.
Hoodies, sunglasses, ah!
Thankfully, Ellis, we don't have to answer that question. But we have
can't help with that, sorry.
Expert who can help us with that. And that's Brian Birch, who's the Vice President of Marketing for Norton, which is by Symantec. And Symantec and Norton specialize in helping small businesses be more secure. That's what I think Norton does. So, Brian, welcome to the show. And how can you help answer this small business question?
Thanks. Great to be here.
Awesome.
And Sarah's already taken the first step by realizing that security is, in fact, a critical priority for small business. So the answer, I would say, to begin with Sarah's question, is multi-layer security. The beginning of our industry was about antivirus and being able to protect against malicious code that might operate on a PC and try to disrupt the function of that PC or potentially steal data from that PC. As the attackers have become more sophisticated, so has our protection. And multi-layer security is critical, being able to protect not just against antiviruses, but firewall that device against unwanted intrusion, protect against phishing scams, any sort of threats or malware that could infect you as you browse the internet, deal with even the malicious crypto ransomware that's out now.
As someone who does not know very much about this, I already feel overwhelmed by information. Can you help maybe distill that a little bit?
It can be scary.
What's critical is to understand that the criminals are attacking in a variety of different ways rather than the more simplistic approach of maybe 20 years ago. And viruses, many people know not to click on a link they don't recognize or open a file from someone they don't know. In fact, another thing we recommend is that small business owners have a written policy that every employee must read, because we and many others spell out very clearly kind of the way a small business can most appropriately protect itself. What we do is a very important piece of it, but having written policies, talking to employees about, for instance, passwords, which is a hot topic. In fact, I tend to tell people in events all over the country that it's really more about a passphrase rather than a password, and having good discipline and hygiene, but have that written down. As employees come and go, that creates vulnerability. If an employee leaves and the employee might not be happy, you need to go through and change passwords to prevent some malicious attack from an ex-employee or even an insider.
And do you think, Brian, that software is necessary on mobile devices? I mean, I get it. We all agree on PCs, notebooks, Macs, etc. We know that for 10, 15 more years. But mobile devices, I mean, do you need to have mobile security on a device?
You do, and it's a popular misconception that you don't. And the reason that many believe you don't is because people have sort of an antiquated view of what the attackers are doing. An antiviral protection software can protect against malicious code or a virus, and in a mobile environment, it's much more difficult to launch malicious code in that way. And on mobile devices, surfing the internet is just as dangerous. Clicking on a phishing email can be just as dangerous. There are many forms of attack, and I mentioned crypto ransomware, which is particularly malicious. I'll explain. And that can hit a mobile device just as easily as it can a PC. The ransomware idea is that the attacker gets a hold of your system and encrypts the data on it so that you cannot access it. They often use almost, nation-state type encryption, which is almost unbreakable. And there, an ounce of prevention is definitely worth a pound of cure, because once the data is encrypted, it's very difficult to get it back.
I also wanted to ask about the second part of Sarah's question, where she said, how do you prevent employees from accidentally exposing sensitive data? So can you talk a little bit about that?
Sure. The good news is the cloud. Many small companies use cloud increasingly for a variety of services. The cloud is as secure, if not more secure, than the traditional forms of storing data and working with data inside of a small business environment. Again, it goes back to policy and making sure that the employees annually are trained. There are written policies that protect. Again, we have this information on our site, other sites do as well. And just making sure that employees have the discipline that maybe an employee at a larger company would have, or that we all tend to adhere to in our personal lives. You've got to make sure that each small business employee knows that the company is vulnerable and could be attacked and takes necessary precautions. Too many people, I think for the 14th year in a row or something like that, the most used password last year was 1234566, and second place was password. And so
So not creative, guys.
creating true complex passwords or passphrases dramatically increases the degree of difficulty for a criminal syndicate to actually attack your company. Awesome. And again, just that awareness that small businesses are increasingly under attack. They may be the most popular flavor if you look at growth rates, because criminals realize it's easier sometimes to attack a small business than it is a Fortune 500 company.
Right.
And there's a lot more to be gained than attacking an individual consumer.
Right. And I would recommend the passphrase, ignition is awesome.
Absolutely.
Brian, thank you so much for being here. This was really useful information.
Great, thanks for inviting me.
Thanks for watching The Ignition Show. I'm Ramon Ray. And Elvis, please tell our audience, how can people contact The Ignition Show?
You can email us at blog@infusionsoft.com.
Thanks for watching, and don't forget, check out ignitionshow.com to check out past and future episodes of Ignition Show.